Bluetooth mode. 26 and 7, 2. 28 is 8. Now for 29 and 30, the two correct answers are B and C. And C, 8. Alright, let's go to 31. Shelter is the correct answer. 32, fire. 33, room. 34, insect. 35, grass or grasses. 36, water. 37, soil. 38, dry. 39, people. 40 is next or next. Plural. NEXT. Just simple. 31 is shelter. Okay, so let's proceed. Cancel writing for 40. 17 is just POP only. Okay, let's match the reading quickly. Number one is ER. Number two, IIR. Reading. Okay, so let's quickly get on to number three, IX. Number four, EIIR. That's 8. Number 5 is IR. Number 6 is similar. Number 7, hypertensive. Hypertensive. Hypertensive is number 7. Number 8 is sensory cortex. Sensory cortex. Number 9 is neuron. Neuron. NEURONS. Neurons. Number 10 is trimester. Trimester. Number 11 is function. Function. Number 12 is E. Number 13 and 14 is 2. Number 15 and 16 is 4. Number 17 is just 8. Number 18 is 4. Number 19 is 3. Number 20 is 2. Number 17 is not 2. Number 18 is 4. Number 19 is 2. Then number 20 is D. Number 21 and 22 is A. Number 23 and 24 C. Number 25 is A. And number 26 is C. So let's go to 27. Number 27 is 86. 86 billion actually. Then number 27 is not grow. It's not grow. Number 28 is shift function or shift brain function. Number 29, sorry, number 30 is long term or long term memory. Then number 31 is spatial navigation. Spatial navigation. Number 32 is more difficult or better to the know. 32, yes. Then number 33 is D. 34 is D. Number 35 is F. 36 is D. 37 is 2. 38 is not D. Number 39 is 2. And 40 is 4. So please write and voice over 40. So let's begin with this. Pardon? Reading. Oh, okay, reading is what is let's produce. Wow. Okay, let's just draw stick on the essay writing. After a break, we'll come back without taking a break. Okay, that's one. Let's write it. Okay, so for those that are starting the training today, I would like to run you through or take you through the IELTS and its meaning. Who knows the full meaning of IELTS? The full meaning of IELTS. Full meaning of IELTS. Full meaning of IELTS. I don't know what the exam is going to do. International English Language Testing System. International English Language Testing System. All right, it is one of the popular English language proficiency tests that is well recognized and acceptable across the globe. Now, the IELTS test is divided or conducted following 4 different modules, which are the listening, the reading, the writing, and the speaking. Now, the listening test lasts for 40 minutes. It has 40 questions, and each question carries a mark, and there are 4 sessions. Then, the reading test lasts for 60 minutes. Now, the reading test also has 40 questions, and each question carries a mark. Then, for the reading test, there are 3 passages you would have to read to answer your question. Although, you won't just have to read only 3 passages, there will be other extracts that will make up your reading test. Then, the writing test lasts for another 60 minutes. The writing test is divided into 2, which we'll call the task 1 and task 2. The writing test is divided into 2, called tasks 1 and 2. So for task 1, you are meant to write for just 20 minutes, while your task 2 lasts for 40 minutes. Okay. Then your task 2, the task 1, you are required to write a minimum of 150 words. For your task 1, a minimum, meaning you can write more, but the minimum that's expected by standard is 150. You're not meant to write anything less than 150 words, or else you lose mark. Then your task 2, you are required to write a minimum of 250 words, nothing less than this, but you can write more. Now, your task 1 gives you just 33.31% of the entire score you get from your writing test, while your task 2 gives you 66.69% of the score you get from the writing test. Then the speaking test lasts for a period of 12 to 15 minutes. And then the speaking test is divided into 3 parts. Now, very quickly, your IELTS test can be written in 2 formats. You may choose to go with the computer-based test, or you might prefer that of the paper-based test. Now, if you want to go through the computer-based test, then you would have to complete the whole IELTS test in 1 day. So, you would be taking either you may begin your exam with the speaking test first, after which you now go in to take on these 3, or you write these 3 first before your speaking test. But everything under computer-based test package is done in 1 day. But if you subscribe for the paper-based test, then you will be writing your IELTS test in 2 different days. Now, you may have to sit first before these 3, or you take on these 3 before the speaking. The test is conducted by giving you your listening test first. After that, you now take on the reading. And after the reading, the writing comes in, and that's it for that day. Then you have to take your speaking test on a separate day. Now, these three, the listening, reading, and writing test, are taken alongside maybe 50 or 100 or 200 other test takers in a hall, whereas the speaking test is just between you and the examiner. Now, this speaking test can be conducted either physically, where you have a physical examiner, or it should be administered virtually, where the examiner will be transmitted from wherever he or she is, and you also get to speak to that person where it's a screen, but it's actually a live session. So these are the areas, the four areas of the IELTS test: the listening, the reading, the writing, and the speaking. You understand? Okay, so to begin today, we shall look at the writing test that 2. Now, the writing test that 2 is actually called essay. But I would like to explain the different uh, types of IELTS tests that you write based on your need for the proficiency results. Now, you may want to, or you may be required to provide your IELTS results because you want to apply to work. So, if your reading for the IELTS test is for job, then you'll be required to write the general training IELTS. If you are going, if you apply for job, you are writing the general training IELTS. Now, but if you are a nurse, you want to work as a nurse, maybe in the UK, for instance, you won't be writing the general training. You'll be writing the academic IELTS for your nursing job application. Now, if you want to apply for study, those that are applying for study, what you write is the academic IELTS. You understand? So, if you want to work and you're not a nurse, this is what you have to write. If you're applying to study abroad, this is what you have to write. If you're a nurse, you don't write this, rather, you write this. So these are the different aspects. Now, for your writing test, you have a different task 1. If you are applying to study, your task 1, the task 1 of your writing test is actually going to be report writing. Report writing. If you are applying to study, or you are a nurse and you are applying for job, your task 1 would be report writing. But if you are applying for job, your task 1 would be letter writing. Please, just in case you go for your test and you are seeing report, whereas what you're applying for is actually for job and you're not a nurse, please, you're not to write report, you have to write letter. But if you're going for study and you're seeing letter as your task 1, please reject it. You're supposed to write report, right? Then for task 2, everyone writes an essay. Whether you're going for study or for job, everyone writes an essay. So that's it. So let's begin with the essay writing. Now, the essay writing is the aspect of your writing, IELTS writing test, where you are being evaluated on spontaneity, you are evaluated on your creativity, you are evaluated on your exposure, you're also evaluated on your in-depth knowledge of English. In-depth knowledge of English. So here, people have different misconceptions about IELTS. IELTS, they say that IELTS is an English exam, and because of that, they don't get to prepare for it. But on that day, you just be shocked because of the question you be given. So it's not just about English; it's about your intellect, how exposed you are. It's about your intellect. So now a question can be given to you, and that question has nothing to do with English. Because when we say we are talking about English, the question should be asking you, the question should be seen, should be something like nouns, define nouns, different types of nouns, what about verbs and all that, right? But in IELTS, nobody asks you about any of those guys. You just see the question from any sector of human engagement. It could be from sporting sector and the sporting sector. It could be on agriculture. It could be on transport, economy. It could be on the global warming. It could be about money. It could be anything. So when that question comes, you are usually expected and required to solve that question. Now, your ability to solve the question shows that one, you are spontaneous, meaning it is something you are able to solve without having a prior information that that's what you be asked. So you are spontaneous. Now, your ability to constructively respond to that question and solve the problems that are contained in it is your creativity. So you must be able to interpret that question and positively solve that question. So that's your creativity. Now, while you're solving that question, you are using the right terminologies that relate to that particular issue. Because every question comes from a particular sector, right? And every sector has got its own terminologies that you're meant to use while solving those problems. So that's where your expression comes in. So if you are not exposed as regards that particular line of challenge, you won't even know what to write. So your grammar will have nothing to do for you. Right? Now, your in-depth knowledge of English now comes in when you are bringing in all those solutions to solve the problem. That's where you're not expressing yourself. That's where the mistake comes in. So you are using the right word. You are composing compound complex sentences. You are having your spelling all in full and correctly spelled and all that. So all of these will be used to measure how prepared and how knowledgeable you are. Then, in writing test, examiners evaluate what you have done following four major areas. The first one is what we call task achievement. Examiners evaluate your ability to achieve the task that has been given to you to solve. Secondly, examiners check your task cohesion and coherence. Furthermore, examiners test or check your lexical resources. And then lastly, they look at your grammatical range and accuracy. Right. Now, your essay writing is being evaluated following these four axes. On task achievement, examiners look at your ability to completely respond or solve the questions asked following the standard IELTS template. So to every question, you are expected to respond to them. So if a question says give 4 reasons or what are the benefits, IELTS examiners expect that you should give not one benefit, but more than one. So cohesion and coherence, where your understanding of the question is being tested, and then your ability to stick to the question while writing. So these two will help examiners to know whether you, first and foremost, actually understood the question, and secondly, if you were able to write in line with the question without necessarily deviating. Now, the third one is the lexical resources, which has to do with vocabulary. What vocabularies are you bringing in while solving the question? You want to see if you are able to show off your advanced vocabulary. Please note that in IELTS, they don't expect you, the examiners do not expect you to use the overly or commonly used expressions. Please avoid those commonly used expressions, commonly used words or expressions. You need to avoid them because they want you to show that you have in-depth knowledge of English. Instead of using those words that anyone can actually or easily use, they want you to use alternative words known as synonyms. So you are expected to build your lexical resources. Then the fourth here is the grammatical range and accuracies. So you are expected to show off your grammatical range, where examiners look at the type of sentence or sentences you bring in while expressing yourself. So your sentences should not be just a common or short sentence. Rather, you are expected to show off compound and complex sentences, right? And then, while you are expressing all of those compound and complex sentences, you are also expected to make sure that they are accurate. For instance, if you are expressing something that has happened, you are expected to make use of past tense to express that particular incident. If you are expressing something that has to do with one person, you are meant to bring in plural indicators. So all of those will help them to know that your grammatical range is great and the accuracies are also top-notch. So these are the 4 areas examiners evaluate what you have written. Next would be your write-up. Examiners expect you to show off what we call advanced expressions. Now, for your advanced expressions, we are looking at your ability to make use of linking words. And your ability to bring in what we call sequentials. Now, what are linking words? Who can try? Linking words. What are linking words? Not examples. No. What are linking words? Words that connect what? Sentences. Words that are used to link or connect independent sentences together to become one. Can you give us an example? Please don't use the common one. That's very common. However, go ahead. You're please. Otherwise, because yes, although, come on, that's okay. Whereas, right? Whereas, on the other hand, right? Contrarily, these are little words you are meant to bring in when you are expressing yourself. When you want to compose compound sentences. Alright, so linking words are words that are used to link or join or connect independent sentences together to become one. Okay? So examples of linking words, as you have rightly said, would be whereas, On the other hand, contrarily, um, maybe you can say uh, hence, right? These are words you can bring in to link or join two independent sentences to become one. And it will help you to achieve great, wonderful grammatical range. Then let's look at sequencers. What are sequencers? Sequencers are words or phrases that are used to either begin a paragraph or introduce a fresh point in the same paragraph. You understand? Sequencers are words or phrases that are used to either begin a fresh paragraph or introduce another point in a paragraph. Can you try with an example of a sequencer? Sequencer? No, that's common. Yeah. To begin with, is common. You can think of something. First and foremost, furthermore, additionally, subsequently, in addition. One word is perfect. Subsequently, consequently, summarily, instead of saying in summary, say summarily, conclusively, instead of saying in conclusion. You also have in light of the above. These are words you can always use. These are words you can always use as sequencers. So sequencers help you to begin a paragraph with a strong word. Maybe if you want to begin your point, you are saying first and foremost, you know, so as you write and write and write, I want to add another different point. You are saying furthermore, it's still in the same paragraph. You now keep writing, right? So when you want to bring another one, you say in addition, or sorry, not in addition. Additionally, right? So those are words that will help your essay, your paragraph to have lots of ideas in one. To further portray my point, you are bringing an example. That's the way of saying, for example, to further portray my point. So it can also come in a paragraph. You do not necessarily need to say, for example, please avoid to drop your mind. For instance, may be good, but it's also common. So you say to further portray my point, or you say to elucidate further, or you say one good instance support my opinion or point. So those are ways of saying, for instance, without necessarily saying for instance. Okay, now let's begin. For essay writing, there is a formula that you can use. There is a formula for writing essay that will help you to coordinate your essay and also achieve the minimum requirements. here is the formula for writing an essay. Now, just for a faster grasp of this particular formula, if anyone asks you what is the formula for writing an essay, you should simply say that the formula is P1, P2, P3, and P4. Right? The formula for writing an essay is P1, P2, P3, and P4. Now, what does this mean? P1 means paragraph 1. P4 should mean what? Paragraph 4. Now, in your essay, how many paragraphs are you meant to have based on this formula? 4 paragraphs. Please, do not exceed 4 paragraphs. You should not write less, you should not write more. Now, for your essay writing, each paragraph have got its own components or constituents. That's things you're meant to have in them. So let's look at the first paragraph. Your first paragraph should have paraphrase. And after the paraphrase, you should bring in thesis or background statement. And after that, you bring in stance. And of course, your stance could be view, opinion, suggestion, merit or demerit, advantage or disadvantage. Then your paragraph 2 and 3 have the same thread. And these are topic sentence, body paragraph, and then example. Okay? Now your paragraph 4 has to do with conclusion and stance. That's it. So let's understand how this formula plays out on the day of your exam. Now, on the day of your exam, if you are given your question booklet and an answer paper, and you are advised or instructed to begin, the first thing you are meant to do would be to copy the question that is on your question paper onto your answer sheet. That's you have to copy the question that is on your question paper onto your answer sheet. And that should constitute the beginning of your paragraph 1. Now, copying that question should not be done word for word. It shouldn't be done verbatim, but you are to paraphrase the keywords in the question in a way that it would still retain the original meaning as in the question paper. I don't know if you understand this. Paraphrasing is the concept of copying that question. So, but you are not meant to copy the question word for word. You are meant to change or substitute some of the keywords using their synonyms, right? Or phrases that still retain the same original meaning as in the question, right? So once you're done paraphrasing, you apply your period, your full stop. And immediately after the full stop, on the same line, continue with your background statement. So this background statement is a statement you make in writing, still in paragraph 1, just after the full stop of your paraphrase. That's the question that you have copied or rephrased. After that full stop, you now make a statement that would confirm to the examiner what you will be doing or what you plan to do in the essay. Let me make this clear, right? Have you understood the part where I said copy the question in a rephrased form? So once you're done copying that question, you apply your full stop. So once you apply your full stop, you now decide on what you are going to do in the question, depending on what the instructions say. Can anyone give us a question? Anywhere, from anywhere? Anywhere? Let's see how this can go. Okay, so I was going to have a practical using a question. does not solve the poverty. Full stop or comma. So, which country should give other types of help to the poor country rather than the financial. Do you agree or? Mhm. That's all right. Okay, so here is a typical IELTS question. So this question says, rich countries often give financial aid to poor countries, but it does not solve the poverty. So rich countries should give other types of help to the poor countries rather than the financial aid. This is the issue. So the issue stops at this point, right? Now from this point to this point is now referring to you. It's directed to you. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So you do not necessarily need to paraphrase it from this part. No. You don't need to talk about this part when you are paraphrasing. You only need to copy this consent that starts from rich and ends at it. You understand? So I was saying that once you are giving your question, such as this, the first thing you are expected to do is to copy this question onto your answer paper at the beginning of your paragraph 1. But you do not need to copy this question verbatim using the exact words here. You need to paraphrase the question. And the words you have to use to paraphrase this question should be such that we will still retain the same meaning. You understand this? Alright, so let's try to do this. If I'm to paraphrase this, I would say affluent nations or wealthy nations maybe frequently offer monetary, right? Monetary support to who? To unwealthy countries. However, it does not bring or provide what? Solution to their impoverishment. Therefore, comma, um, affluent affluent nation should render other what forms of assistance to the underdeveloped countries, right? Instead of the I've used monetary, right? Okay. Instead of the, let's still retain financial, since we have not used anywhere here, right? Instead of the financial what? Instead of the financial support, we have used support before. All right. So this is the paraphrase. You just have to replicate the same question here using substitute. So you see that all we have written still retains the same information as the original, right? So once you do this, you also notice that there is only one full stop in the whole of all we have written. Only one. The original question, I'm very sure it has about 2 or 3 full stops. Check the original question. So what did we achieve here by having only one full stop? We have achieved what we call grammatical range, compound complex. You understand it? So how did we achieve that? We made use of therefore, we made use of however, and what are those words for? Linking words. You need to bring them in. Linking words will help you to achieve compound complex sentences. Alright, so I was saying that after your paraphrase, the next thing you're supposed to do is to establish or think what you are going to do in your essay. So how do you express that? I said earlier that immediately after your paraphrase, just after the full stop, you have to continue on the same line. So what do you bring in here? You are bringing in your thesis background statement. So what is this thesis background statement? What does it mean? It is a statement you make in writing that tells an examiner what you plan to do. It is a statement you make in writing that confirms to the examiner what you intend or what you will be doing in your essay. So after your paragraph 1, the examiner will now begin to look out for confirmation of what you have established that you will do in your paragraph 1. Do you understand what I'm saying? Is it clear? So how or what would give you the confidence to say this is what I'm going to do? After you must have achieved your paraphrase, you need to go back to the original question, to read the original question twice or 3 times more to ensure that you've understood the situation at hand. So we need to read it. It says that rich countries often give financial aid to poor countries, but it does not solve their poverty. So rich countries should give other types of help to the poor countries rather than the financial aid. So to what extent do you agree or disagree? Now, to what extent? What does it mean? What does to what extent mean? How much? Meaning, if you have a scale of 1 to 10, it's asking you, do you absolutely agree or to a certain extent, right? So you need to decide if you feel that rich countries should no longer be giving financial aid, rather they should provide other forms of assistance. Or do you want to say that no, it's just giving them money? You understand? So if you want them to continue to give them funds, then you want to agree absolutely, right? No, you want to agree to a certain extent. If you want them to continue to give them money, you want them to, you are agreeing to a certain extent. Because the issue here is saying they should give other funds. You understand this? So you are saying no, they should not give other funds. They should do what? Continue to give them. I don't know if you understand this. Then if you feel that yes, this is very correct, they should look for other means instead of the money thing. At this point, you are in absolute agreement. Is that clear? Now, if you want to agree in total, want to agree in all totality, what you need to do, you need to say, okay, on my question paper, I need to draft out the points I would like to use to support why government or why rich countries should provide other forms of assistance. So let me say, what types of assistance can rich countries provide? One, rich countries can provide what we call scholarship. Is that correct? They can give them fully funded scholarship. So when they do this, what will they achieve? They are giving them academic empowerment. They are exposing them to professional ways of solving problems instead of giving them money. Right? So example of this type of situation, we might want to talk about what this scholarship people enjoy in the UK. Very simple scholarship. Hmm? What kind of scholarship do you have? Like in this part of the world, when I say this part of the world, very what kind of scholarship do we enjoy here? Student scholarship, right? Grant, fine. So, but IELTS is not about a particular country, it's a global practice. So this is the idea I would like to talk about, and this is the example I would like to try, right? For this particular scholarship, accommodates people from all over the world. It's usually based on merit, right? So what other reason, what other kind of support would you suggest that affluent countries should consider giving instead of money? You're talking about skill acquisition, is that correct? Skill, skill acquisition program. Example, example, work and travel program, maybe, maybe. What else? Sorry, tailoring the skill acquisition program. Question, head, salary, skill acquisition, right? For instance, during COVID in Canada, um, a lot of the government was looking for tailors that can sew masks. You understand? They were looking for people that can sew masks, right? So skill acquisition could be teach farming, people get trained on how to carry out fish farming, right? Baking, right? Baking jobs. These are skill acquisitions, right? So you might want to suggest that rather than giving them them money, train them on how to do certain skills, and then give them some financial, some capital. That's what it's called, right? Capital to set up. Even farming, generally, right? So we should say farming or tailoring or salon business, etc. Now, these are very strong points you can actually bring in to support these guys that say they should provide other types of help. You understand? So once you have drafted this out on your question paper or on your typing board, wherever your typing space or interface, then you are ready for your essay. At this point, you now come to make your background statement. How do you make or how do you write the background statement? The background statement can be written either by way of saying, in this essay, I will be writing to whatever you be writing in consonance, whatever the instruction is, right? What does the instruction say? Fine. So in this essay, I will be writing to absolutely, is that correct? Yes, that's the next thing you are bringing in here. That's what we call the background, right? So on your answer paper, you now go and establish your statement. You say in this essay, I will be writing to absolutely agree with, I'm writing to absolutely agree with the opinion stated above. Alright, so this is my thesis background statement. Now, my thesis background statement will not end with a full stop. I would like to end my thesis background statement with a semicolon. You understand? My thesis background statement will end with a semicolon. And the reason for that is for me to actually make a recommendation, because the question does not say give your opinion, right? But I would like to make a recommendation. So here I would say, in this essay, I will be writing to absolutely agree with the points listed above. Although in my candid view, I strongly believe that giving individuals giving individuals the opportunity to acquire certain skill is worth way more than offering them finance, because an African average says that it is better to teach a person how to speak rather than always giving the person temporary. Okay, so this is my paragraph one. So here is my paragraph one. First, we have actually three major things. One, we have been able to paraphrase the question. We have been able to establish what we are going to do, and afterwards we have stated our statements, and also we've been able to establish our own thoughts, right? So the question originally, or the question says that wealthy nations frequently offer monetary support to unwealthy countries. However, it does not provide solutions to their impoverishment. Therefore, affluent nations should render other forms of assistance to the underdeveloped countries instead of the financial aid. In this section, I will be writing to absolutely agree with the opinion stated above. Although, in my candid view, I strongly believe that giving individuals the opportunity to acquire certain skills is worth way more than offering them financially. Because an African adage says that it is better to teach a person how to see rather than always believe temporary. All right, so this is the end of your paragraph one. Now, let me tell us something. Paragraph one, if well done, if well constructed, solves your other part of the essay by 50%. Your mind. If you are able to solve your paragraph one very well, you have also solved other parts of the essay by 50%. Because let's look at paragraph two and three. Paragraphs two and three are the paragraphs where you now bring in the points that you want to use to support or oppose whatever idea that is being shared in the question. It's in paragraph two and three that you bring in those points. It's in paragraph two you are going to discuss those points in detail. And it's also in paragraph two you're going to bring in the example you would like to use to buttress the point. So for this paragraph two and three, your essay before completing your paragraph 1, the paragraph 2 topic sentence will now become scholarship. This topic sentence in paragraph 2 will now become your scholarship. That's the point you have dropped it out. So, since you wrote scholarship as one of the points, you already know what you would like to discuss with regards to scholarship. So you begin to expatiate in detail that over time, a lot of countries who eventually evolve or progress from being underdeveloped to developed nations actually achieved that great milestone because some developed nations allow them the freedom to come to their country to acquire education in one particular profession or the other. And upon graduation, they were able to get the knowledge of practicing that particular line of profession, which they took back home to now develop their country, instead of relying solely on those countries to come into their country to develop them. Do you understand? So you now give an instance of such country. You could say Ghana. You could say Dubai. Dubai was not rich. Dubai actually got one of the resources that blew them up right now from Nigeria, the oil palm, right? They got it from here. They took it home. They planted, and today Dubai is one of the most visited countries in the world. And you see how they have developed over time, right? So you can cite Dubai as one of your examples. Then you go to paragraph 3. Talk about skills acquisition programs. Now you begin to explain what you mean by skills acquisition programs. That which country should come in with their professionals in the area of vocations to teach them how to do fashion and tailoring business, how to become hairstylists, how to remodel people. Talk about other skills like farming. If your country is practicing only the manual farming, development will be very difficult for them. But if they employ mechanized farming, there will be massive production, there will be better practices. All right? So it will help them. The skills acquisition will teach them how to use those machines, how to operate them. Do you understand? And once such skills are acquired or is acquired, they will now be able to practice them in their home country by themselves without relying on the rich countries to come in and do all of that for them. So, and once that comes in, the issue of farming, that's scarcity of food, is already settled. There will be enough food. And the food will not just be used in their home countries. They can also begin to export. And once they're exporting, they are bringing in revenue into their economy. And once that is being done, employment comes in. So you need to explain all of these in your body paragraph and then give an example. So you give an example, and that will be it for your paragraph 3. Now, for your conclusion, you will now give what we call the synopsis of your topic sentences. So you are saying, conclusively, it is evident that giving 4 countries avenues to improve by way of offering them scholarships as well as giving them some skills acquisition programs will not only help them to improve and be developed, but also empower them for life and be self-dependent and reliant. Therefore, in my experiential or professional opinion, I strongly believe that you now paraphrase this same opinion you wrote here in your paragraph 4, and you're done. Please, do you understand? Is it clear? So this is how your essay should be. Yes, put them together. Then you can bring in each as an idea in the same paragraph using sequencers. Furthermore, tailoring is another one, and this blah blah blah, right? Making the apprentice to become international experts, where they can go to advertise or showcase their new fashions at places such as Gucci and all that. You understand? So you're not expert. You go to the other one, salon, talk about hairdos, different um, wigs that can be made, and they will be sold both locally and internationally. You just have to create all of this. So this is the way your essay writing should go. What you must understand is in essay writing, if you are able to identify the area or the sector where the question is coming from, you should be able to also use the terminology in that for that sector. So that will also help you to build more advanced vocabulary, right? So this is how the essay should go. Yes. Okay. So once you write scholarship, hmm? scholarship, then you begin. First and foremost, it is evident that a lot of poor countries or nationals of poor nations cannot afford to sponsor their children to acquire education, right? Both in their to attend good schools in their home country, right? Um, um, as a result of this, there is high level of illiteracy, and illiteracy is a barrier for development. Illiteracy is a fear for social vices in a society. Do you understand what this means? When there is high level of illiteracy, people's reasoning will be very low. A problem that should be solved through dialogue, violence will take over because they don't understand the strength or importance of conversation, right? So if you talk about this, first and foremost, it's important that blah 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 blah. Then furthermore, you bring in another point still to talk about scholarship, what it can do in a country. Do you understand? Some key courses or professionalisms that will help a country develop rapidly may not be available in such underdeveloped country. They need to go and study such courses abroad. So scholarship will help them, fully funded scholarship to help them to go there to study, knowing that they are offered fully funded scholarships with some stipends that will keep them, that will take care of both their feeding, accommodation, and all that. You understand? And while they are also learning, they are placed on what they call co-op, practical. They are practicing that course while they are still learning, right? So your example is Devlin. Devlin is a UK scholarship where people from all over the globe apply to degree on merit. Your previous qualification is very excellent, and you've gotten all of that requirements. An annual so that's just one practical example. Okay, so that's it about the essay writing. Um, we shall be going. Thank you. Nobody saw this. This is an omission. Wealthy nations frequently offer monetization. All right, so that's it on essay writing. Um, we shall go on a short break. After that, we come back and then take on reading and